I'm joined by Ernst van Zyl. Ernst, welcome to the Big Liberty Show, the Snippets edition. We're in Cape Town at the moment, and we've been chatting about this, that, and the third. But the conversation we were having is essentially about the growth of alternative media spaces. I mean, this is one, I suppose, but there's a growing number of them. So, Ernst, let me buttress this question by saying this. Of course, there is a fatigue, seemingly, by ordinary South Africans who perceive it, whether real or not, that the major news groups in this country are biased in one way or the other. So SABC, we call it a government propaganda tool. ENCA is now accused as being a mouthpiece for white monopoly capital by the other side of, the sort of loudmouth social media space. This has prompted, depending on how you want to view it, right? This has prompted, of course, the growth of alternative media in this country. Talk to me about it. Is it really significant? And does it have the potential to be bigger than traditional news?
Right, so I think first thing we need to get out of the way is that this is not a specifically South African phenomenon.
Absolutely.
We are pretty much experiencing the symptoms of what's happening all across the world. But I think you touch on something very interesting there, and I think this whole growth of alternative media, in order to explain it, you have to look at where it's coming from. And it's definitely not coming from only the initiatives and the innovation of alternative media, but rather the absolute catastrophic failings of the mainstream media that have pretty much had a monopoly on information, a monopoly on the narrative for a very long time. But now we live in the internet age, and today, as we were talking about earlier, people were used to getting their information and their news from a very nicely dressed guy sitting in front of a teleprompter. He earns a multi-million rand salary, and he just reads off whatever is on the teleprompter like the anchorman. But then what happened was, I think people started associating that image of the polished, very corporate newsreader with dishonesty as fake news and things started becoming more prevalent. And I think that's almost like a knee-jerk psychological reaction to it. Now you have people in the alternative media, as we call it now, regular people, sitting in their room with a microphone and a camera. That's all they need. They're looking at the news, they're analyzing it from their point of view, from their perspective. Some of them have a background in political science or have some knowledge in politics. None of them really have journalism degrees or anything. But you have this very highly competitive environment where people can choose. If they don't like someone's analysis, they don't have to watch it. Back in the day, you had to choose between a handful of news organizations to get your news
at
from.
a specific time.
And yeah, exactly.
Before, of course, 24-hour news.
Now, and I think something interesting that happened was as well is that we've realized people have a much bigger interest in long-form discussion than we actually thought for a long while.
Sorry, I'm just going to reach over here, but
Right. So now what we're seeing is that people are actually listening to 1 hour, 1 hour and a half conversations between people, and they are actually paying attention for the entire conversation, something we thought for a long while people just weren't interested in. But what's happening is now, back in the day you were watching on television, it was kind of occupying your entire attention. Now people are listening on their earphones, and while they're washing the dishes, while they're driving, sitting in traffic, while they're mowing the lawn. People are now being saturated with new information, and they've got this immense variety that they can choose from. And it was this huge gap that's now being filled by regular people. Not people, as I said, with journalism degrees, but people with a genuine interest in politics, people that have something to say. And if you look at a lot of these people, you only have to look at my backstory as well as how I got into alternative media. I didn't see my type, how I saw the world in terms of my own analysis. I wasn't seeing reflected somewhere. So I just wanted to vent. So I started making YouTube videos where I just vented about things. And people were attracted to it. And I'm not the only one. Most of these people that have risen to prominence didn't start with some marketing team and a brand and a whole huge 50-year plan. They just started as regular people that were venting their frustrations, and other people gravitated towards it. And I only see more prosperity in that regard in the future, where regular people, all I want them really to have is more confidence that they can do it. You don't need a journalism degree. You don't need a huge amount of funds. You just need to be able to have a microphone, a pretty all right internet connection, and maybe even a camera. You don't even need a camera. You just need some way to get your opinions out there. And we're seeing it more and more. And I'm very optimistic actually in that regard. I think we are educating people. We are living in an age of self-education, if I can call it that way.
Dude, I fully agree with that. And maybe just as a last question, and I want you to focus in on this. This is all part of the battle of ideas, isn't it?
Yes.
It suddenly frees up a plethora of individuals who originally would never be able to be vocal voices in this. to be able to say, this image being provided to us on television screens, whatever the case, is not the only worldview, and actually you can have different opinions and different views and a basket, if you will, a diverse basket of opinion, news, opinion and analysis, sorry. Talk to me about your own plans, and maybe as you do so, I don't know if you want to share your platforms and social media. I don't know if you want to do that, but it's up to you. What can we expect from you? And of course, as you do that, let me just turn to camera and quickly say, I will have Ernst on the long format of the show, either the podcast, Liberty and Friends, or of course, the Big Liberty Show. So stay tuned to that. That will definitely happen. But how do people reach you, and what sort of content can they expect?
So I used to only publish under my pseudonym Conscious Caracal, and now I've pretty much gone public this year out of principle, seeing as I've started working for Afriforum. So I couldn't bring myself to that point to create, for example, a pro Afriforum video and people not knowing I'm connected to the organization. I think that would be a bit scummy. So yeah, now I'm all completely out in the open. No one can use my anonymity or revealing my true identity against me.
Right.
And we're now in that position where if you want to follow me, you can find me at Conscious Caracal on Twitter or on YouTube. I'm pretty sure there will be a full name on the screen because it's a hard one to spell. But yeah, and I've started writing opinion pieces as well. It's really, my confidence has really gotten a boost in terms of looking at the reactions that I've gotten. And I think my mission, I said this when I made my video where I revealed my identity, is my main mission this year is to really encourage other people to do what I do. Firstly, I want more competition. I want more people challenging my ideas. I want more people building audiences and actually creating a much broader and bigger community of ideas that people can really start finding their niche. If you want to listen to a video about crypto, you can go find someone that's an expert on it talking about it. And I think that's what I want to encourage. I really want to encourage people to be more confident in terms of joining the battle of ideas, joining the alternative media. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work, but at least try it. I think you're doing yourself, if you have something to say and you have a lot of strong opinions, I think you're doing yourself a huge disservice if you're just keeping it to yourself and letting it stew.
Dude, really appreciate you being on the show. Super appreciate that. And I appreciate you for watching. Thank you so much for watching this episode of the Big Liberty Show, the Snippets edition. I don't know if I'm going to keep this format, but I do like it. And I'll be sharing these, of course, throughout the week. Guys, as I said, thank you for watching. I will see you on the next one.